Hello and welcome back to another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV with myself, Max.
And me, Sam.
That's right, and today we have two special guests joining us. We've got Adam, who some of you may have seen giving performance feedback on our Facebook page, and we've also got someone that many of you will recognise from his own YouTube channel, and that's SAMCAM. Welcome both to the podcast. Right, so before we start, you might be listening to this on Spotify. And that's right, because we're now uploading these podcasts to that platform as well.
Huh?
But we're also still doing it on YouTube. So if you're watching and listening to this on YouTube, please give us a like. Please give us a subscribe whilst you're there as well, because it helps bring you more content. Right, on with the show. And today is all about the fact that Stoke have appointed Mark Robins as their new manager on a 3.5 year contract, and joining him as well are Paul Nevin and James Rowbury as assistant managers. And they should be straight in for this weekend's game against Plymouth, I believe. I'm going to throw this over to Sam to start with. Now, we've got two Sams on the show today. So, for the avoidance of doubt, I'll refer to Stoke Fan TV Sam as Sam and SAMCAM Sam as SAMCAM, right? That makes sense? Okay, so over to Sam to start with. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah,
New manager.
yeah, I'm chuffed to be honest with you. He was number one out of the candidates that I'd have liked to have come to the club. He's got a really good proven record with Coventry. What he did at Coventry was phenomenal, really, taking them to the FA Cup semi-final and one kick away from Premier League. Because when he joined them, we were in League Two. So yeah, I'm quite excited to see what he can do. And going on the performances we've just had against Sunderland and Burnley, they were quality. And that's the
Yeah.
best I've seen Stoke play all season. So if Mark Robbins gets to watch that and work on that, I think we might have like some better performances going forward.
Yeah. Okay. Next, Sam Cam, I'll throw it over to you. You happy in general about this appointment?
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it, to be completely honest. I said to my dad actually when he was appointed that I felt after the last one, Johnny Walters knew he probably couldn't go for a gamble again like he did with Narcissus Black. He had to go for the safe option, the proven option, and that's exactly what he did with Mark Robbins. And I think he's coming into a club that has got a lot of quality players. I mean, you've seen like the other Sam just touched on a moment ago, the last two games especially, we played two sides that are in the top six, that are in a promotion race this season, and we picked up 4 points from a possible six, and we've gone toe to toe with them. So I think it's proven that he's coming into a team with quality. It's just whether he can get the best out of them.
Adam?
Yeah, to me, he seems like he's good fit for the club, and not just comedy form, but when he started at one of them as well, when he had nothing at all, and then Barnsley as well. So it seems from my start to up to comedy, he's got a good, really good record getting to promote it and getting to them to the FA Cup as well, and he gone now to championship.
Absolutely. He's got a good track record, doesn't he?
Yeah,
What do we all think? We've always singing his praises, and a lot of Stoke fans have been singing his praises and saying, "Oh, look, he's great for coming in." There's been some talk about his old assistant manager or coach or something leaving, and some of the comments that we've seen on some of the social media posts, especially throughout previous videos, they've been saying, "Well, just bear in mind that a lot of his success was down to that combo." Has anyone got any kind of thoughts on that? Do you think that's all
It was Viviash, wasn't
conjecture?
it? It was Viviash, the assistant manager at Coventry, and I think
yeah,
they had a falling out at the start of this season, and the assistant manager was replaced.
yeah.
Now that would have thrown a spanner in the works, and it'd have made him have to change tactics and all sorts. Maybe I think we should just see what he can do with his new assistant managers that he's got him instead of trying to look
Mm.
back and find negatives in it.
So we're not
Uh,
worried.
No,
I, I'd argue against it a little bit, to be honest. I mean, if that's right what you're saying, sorry, I don't fully know myself, but if his assistant manager he's worked with for Coventry for many years left at the start of this season, and that's when it started to go wrong,
yeah,
then I mean maybe you have to look. Maybe it was a lot of his assistant. I mean, if you look at Derby a couple of years ago with Wayne Rooney and Liam Rosenior, he seemed to be the mastermind behind the scenes in that sort of duo. He left, and then look what Rooney has gone on to do in the rest of his managerial career so far. And I'm not saying it'll be anything like that. I'm sure Robbins has got his head screwed on a lot more than he has managerial wise, but it'll be a case of having to wait and see what happens and hope for the best. But I do think it's the correct decision. I think like Sam says, and like you said as well, it's a proven manager at this level that's got a team like Coventry to the playoffs. And yes, I think we're a long way off from that right now. But maybe next season, give him a full summer and a full season behind him, we can see what happens, can't we?
Yeah. Adam, got any thoughts on it?
I think he can, but I think if he had a bit more guarantee with his new assistant manager, what he wanted to bring in, then he probably would have gone a bit more better as I go along. I think if you only because I think he was getting better bad results and it was looking bad, so he thought he was best to ban it button straight away. So I say I'll give you Cam with these doesn't managers and see how he gets on.
I think that's a very fair point. Actually, he wasn't given ages, was he, this season?
No,
he'd been there an awful long time, and a lot of Coventry fans were very upset, weren't they, when he was sacked? I mean, it's one of them where we're not going to know the full details, and it doesn't really matter because he's not come here with that assistant, and what people are talking about is all conjecture. Do we know much about his new assistants that have come in? Do you know if are they going to cut the mustard, or there's no one really read up? Do we not really know much about the two chaps who've come in alongside?
They've experienced at international youth level. I think one of them's a Welsh international coach for the youth team, and the other one's England under-21 coach. I can't give you much more info on that. I saw it. It was in the interview that Mark Robbins released. He was talking about him.
Okay.
And I think was a Newport County manager before he came as well.
Okay, right. So the guys he's bringing in, as I say, they sound like they got a bit about them. Have we listened to what Robbins has said in his interviews so far with the club? Have we watched him? Anyone got any thoughts on that?
Yeah,
no, go on, mate. Go on.
I've watched him like both interviews, press conference, and on he did yesterday when he first gamed, and when on the press conference he did, I thought he got very well, and also it seemed got very well as well. How he wants to build the club first, very sorry, and kind of get the base to be more attacking and express themselves as well, and be more like on cue football. With the base, not for possession football like what we did before. Then so he wants to be more like attacking and fashion football. So hopefully we see more entertainment football, not like that before.
Well, we've seen some of your reviews, Adam, about what you thought to some of Palak's football. So hopefully it's going to be a bit more exciting. What do you think, SAMCAM?
No. I think what he said is that he's looking forward to working with Johnny Walters and John Coates and with the players he's got at hand already. And I think that's the key thing. I think with Stoke in recent years with managers, I think this is our 7th now, is it? Since our relegation from the Premier League in 2018. And I think the big thing now is we're a football club that desperately needs consistency, some stability off the pitch. And I think that's what we've got to do with Mark Robbins. We've got to give him time. We can't give him 3 months and give him the sack because results aren't going our way. I think he's got to have at least until the end of the season to prove himself. I don't think we've got to worry about any kind of relegation, especially with him in charge. But yeah, the big thing for me is let's get behind him, let's back him, let's not lose patience with him really quickly, because that's what happened with Palak. And I'm not saying it was the wrong decision to sack him. I think it was the right one. But I mean, we've seen it with Schumacher, gone far too early as well. So in this manager, we've got to get behind and hope that he gains the club some kind of stability.
Do you say, Sam, would you say stability is the main aim of the game now?
Yes. I mentioned before that it was positive that he'd been at Coventry for 7 years. It shows that he's got the pedigree to be at a club for a long period of time with the backing of the board and the supporters. And as you said before, we were gutted that he left Coventry, and he really did have like a connection going with the fans. And I think he touched on that in his interview that he wants to build it with the fans, with the whole city included. Because he mentioned the motto, "Vis unita fortua," which is United strength is stronger. And he was going on about that in his
You've
interview
mentioned that a couple
about
of
being
times,
as a
hasn't he?
collective.
I did.
He's mentioned it a couple of times, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, he did. And you know what I like as well? I like the fact that they've listened to Stoke and they've actually appointed him as a manager and not as
Yeah.
a head coach, which is one thing that I
right.
did notice as well.
Is that actually is that 100% confirmed?
Yeah, it's in his best
Yeah, they've
confidence.
put manager.
With
They announced him as the new Stoke
confidence.
City manager, yeah.
So we've gone
Yeah,
away from that old model.
yeah.
Well, that's
Looks
that.
like it to a degree.
Well, that's got to be good news, right? Is everyone thinking that's good news?
We needed to. We needed to. I think that was the problem probably with Narcis Palaka and Schumacher. They were both given the roles of head coach under Johnny Walters. And if we're being truly ruthless here, does Johnny Walters have a lot of experience in a sporting director role? No. Has he done a lot of good so far? Not a lot, if we're being completely honest. So I think, look, let's give the full reins to a manager, and let's not, take control off him. Let him do what he wants to do. He's the manager at Coventry for 7 years and brought them a lot of success. So he knows what he's doing over a long period of time. And yeah, I'm glad we've gone away from the head coach role, because I think a manager's point of being at a football club is to control it, to make the big decisions. And to be honest, I like Johnny Walters, and as I've always said in my videos, a great servant to the club, as a player and now as a sporting director too. But I think in terms of like transfer departments and stuff like that and making the decisions about the teams, I think you've got to give a manager that responsibility.
Yeah, Adam, you think the same?
When I was the best one with come out what is what come out is sad. It is a manager, but he says it's because they're different labels on the person. So it's the same thing what he's been what David Moyes did before or thing. So it's not any different, but it was still sitting around and having meetings and stuff. So basically what he's saying, despite what he's saying is a coach or a manager, it's because a label what's been put on them then. So yeah, it is a manager then, but it'd be the same thing what Gummo is doing before by doing transfers and stuff.
Yeah.
And off a bit stuff as well.
Well, I think it felt quite clear to me and to I think quite a lot of people that the head coach model, even though it might work at other clubs, and I've heard it works at various other clubs, but it just didn't seem to be working at Stoke. And whether that was the whole problem or part of the problem with Palak, I don't know. I also think Palak. What he's trying to do, and I said this in the last show, is he's trying to have his own way of doing things without looking at the players that he's got. Now, one of the things that was quite interesting that stuck out for me in Robin's interviews and in his chats and what he was saying is he said talking about the players he's gotten and playing to their strengths.
Yeah.
And moulding a team and making that team around their strengths. What do we think that Robbins is going to do? He spoke and he said things, but how do we think he's going to play based on the way we've watched Coventry play? Has anyone got any thoughts on that? Are we going to start seeing more attacking football? Are we going to defend better? What we're going to? We need to attack well. We need to defend well. But what kind of style of team are we going to see? Are we going to see two up front? Has anyone got what are people's thoughts on that?
I think we'll see a better Stoke team for sure. I think we'll see a Stoke team that is far less of a pushover and has a lot more backbone to us, and I think that's crucial. I think in many games this season, and I'm sure you'll agree, we lose games far too easily. We concede goals far too easily, and we haven't been dangerous attacking either. And I think he will change that. If you watch Coventry's team in the last few seasons, especially, absolutely superb. They bring in the right players to suit his system. You look at Ellis Sims, Haji Wright. even Sakamoto this season, Ephraim, Mason Clark, who's starting to bang the goals in too. He knows what sort of players he needs to bring the best out of a full team together. And I think he will. I think he'll make us a lot better to watch. I know you probably won't look at him and listen to him speak and imagine he's an attacking manager, but he certainly is. Coventry are a team of the last few seasons that have been a joy to watch at times, are hard to break down, and are very hard to defend against as well. And I'm looking forward to watching us. I mean, he said, Johnny Walters said, in an interview with Sky Sports, how he was impressed with how much he knew and the knowledge he had over the players before even coming in and becoming the manager. And that was one of the key reasons he appointed him. And I think he knows the squad he's got. He knows the tool he's got. It's the question of whether he knows how to use them right or not.
Anyone else?
I'm looking on the transfer market, got to the gear thing, but on Mark Robson's big thing. He says his favourite formation, what he prefers, is 3-4-2 formation. So, if it is that formation, then I'll mind being with that formation because it brings you up front. And I think Jamie Baker in Portsmouth game on the black, Sam Gallagher played behind Tom Cannon then. And that's why we got most of our best players of that game, in Portsmouth game thing. And that game was our only best game we had on the black thing. And since then, since he changed for formations, not really our best games since then. So if you compare some that kind of formation or a two up front or second behind, getting behind the striker thing, so can I get the rings on rings to get the ball in the box more? Can I get more getting play and over can show more goals, and then after having get up defense a bit more better as well in the field.
Yeah,
I
it's
mentioned
really
that.
interesting that two up front. Go on, Sam.
Yeah, I mentioned it last show that we did that his preferred formation was a 3-4-1-2, and you are right, Adam. That is the formation that we did play against Portsmouth, and that was the best we played like under Palak.
Yeah,
And I think it's interesting, but we'll see, because I think Mark Robbins is the sort of manager that, as we've said already, will adapt to the team that he's got.
yeah.
And yeah, granted, 3-4-1-2, we have got the players to play 3-4-1-2. I know Bocat was out injured for the last two games because of a warm-up, so Lyndon Gooch had to go to left back, which is not his ideal position. But if we have got all the players fit to play, then it isn't a bad formation to go with, really.
And then we haven't played. We've played, like Adam just mentioned. He's floated like that. We may well have played two up front in that Pompey game. On paper, we didn't play two up front, and whether we actually did or not remains to be seen. But there were certainly times during that game where Gallagher was up top, or it felt like he was up top, and interlinking really well with Tom Cannon. I was going to say the formation that we generally tend to play is one that's vastly used throughout a lot of European football nowadays, which is when we play, as I say, with the four across the back, and then we play with the two holding midfielders, three, and then the striker, and then you've got that kind of number 10 role, which for most of last season as well, I said it wasn't working. I said we weren't getting the best out of it. If we start to play with this kind of formation, I'm going to throw this over to SAMCAM now. SAMCAM, do you think with that formation we could get the best out of the players that we've got?
So, do you mean with Robin's formation or the one
with Robin's
formation? 100%. I agree with what both of you just said, actually, about when Sam Gallagher plays up front with Tom Cannon, when they're both fit. It works really well. They create a lot of chances. Both of them scored goals on that night against Portsmouth. And yeah, no, I do agree, Max. I really do. I think that if we can get the players working together and maybe playing with a lot more confidence, I think it will work. I think it, like I said, I said this numerous times now already on this video, but yeah, I think Robin's formation, his tactics have worked for many years now in the Championship. He knows what it takes for a team to be successful. And look, if that's how he wants to play, and if that's what's going to work, then I have no complaint to then. And I think we've stuck with one up front for quite a while now. We saw it with Schumacher in the 4-3-3, where there was only one person leading the line, and then Polak went for the same thing on most of his occasions as manager, other than the game versus Portsmouth. Let's go for two up front. Let's see if we can maybe grind some more goals out that way.
It's interesting, like you said then, SAMCAM, because it would be nice, and a lot of Stoke fans, as we've all mentioned, it would love to see the return of two up front. It would be nice to see. It's difficult though, and I understand the reasoning for playing that 4-2-3-1, because it's a solid formation, and you get a lot more possession in the middle of the park, and I get it, and it's more solid.
But sorry, man. I've got to say,
go on, Karen.
Do we though? Because if you've got the players to do so, yeah, you keep a lot of possession. You see Burnley play the style of football you're talking about, and that works really well because they've got the caliber, the quality of players to do so. But with Stoke, you can see it's almost like what you said earlier. Polak was trying to do things with a football team that didn't have the abilities to do so far too soon. And yeah, it is a great formation if you got the players to do so, but I don't think the players who've got are fitted to that. And I think we need to go for two up front, go for something a little bit direct, something more hard to deal with. When Gallagher's come off the bench in recent games, he puts himself about, he makes himself a handful for defenders to deal with, and then leaves the rest for Tom Cannon, who can smash the goals in like he's doing this season. So, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I don't think we've got the players to play a possession-style football. I think we're much more of a team that needs to be quick on the attack, quick on the counter, and then solid at the back as well.
Also, I think from what I've seen before as well, if we keep getting the ball up the field all the time as well, when we haven't got big legs up the field. We've got a Guncan who's not that big, Dumas who's not that big as well, Anki Moore who's not that big thing as well. So there's no point getting up the field all the time when we've got them legs on the pitch. When we've got them legs on the pitch, we debate on the floor a bit more along for the count. When we have got some kind of on the pitch, yeah, fair enough, fair up the field. Because in edit onto somebody else can or get to the ball better when it's in the air as well. But when we just see the being, we just being we just get our eye up for these on we've got. So what in this queue is trying to work out if it's going to be Sam Gallagher, then be eyeball. If not going to be Sam Gallagher, then get him to be on the count more.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting though watching the Shawcross era, two games of it, because he set up as a 4-2-3-1. Yeah, I know that. To be honest with you, it was when Gally came on, we kind of switched to a almost 4-4-2, and then we went and beat Sunderland with that combo of Gallagher getting involved, nicking the ball. I mean, Cannon's got a lot to do, but still, it's quite interesting because, I mean, Polak, we can say whatever formation he played. In my eyes, a lot of the time he played 1-9-1. It was basically camped out so deep in our own bloody half.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I don't, obviously the idea, I guess, is invite the press, beat the press, and go. But we never beat the press. So
I agree with you, Max, completely. I mean, the game against Leeds was exactly what you've just said, a complete shadow of it. I mean, we were 1-0 down at half time. I mean, yeah, it was awful. We let Leeds absolutely control the game at home on Boxing Day in front of a decent crowd that wanted to see a good performance when we desperately needed the result. And we sat so back to the wall. And I said at half time in my video, I want us to go out and chase the game in the second half. We're 1-0 behind. Let's not show Leeds all this respect like we have in the first half. Let's go and chase the game. What do we do in the second half? We sit back even further and let them dominate us for the next 45. Yeah. I think we saw that in so many games in the North East, Polak, and I beg that the sort of football, not necessarily we've been playing under Shawcross, because I don't think we've been creating enough chances, but the results and the passion and endeavour we've seen from the players in the last 2 games under Shawcross, I hope that carries on under Mark Robbins, because we need it to. We need an upturn in form.
Sam,
Yeah.
what was it? What SAMCAM said there? I echo it. But what do you think? Do you think what's the difference between Shawcross's 2 games and Palak's however many games he had, and the misery that we were experiencing? What's the difference? Was it tactical? Was it just what was it?
Both.
Go on, Sam. What was it?
Between Shawcross and Plaque?
The 2 games. What was the difference between Shawcross's era, those 2 games, and before?
Passion. To be
Just
honest,
passion,
with a bit of
yeah.
commitment to actually play football and actually kick the ball towards the opposition goal. It's not hard, is it, really? It's like rule number 1 of playing football. You want to score goals, you need to get the ball at that end of the pitch. Palak was just passing it around the back and not really attacking with any motivation whatsoever. He wrote the game off before we even went on the pitch against Leeds, because of his press conference that he said after we'd win, 2 in 10 or whatever. That ain't Stoke. He had to go after that. That comment that he made was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a bit daft, to be honest with you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we've got just before we wrap it up, because we've been chatting for a bit now. We've got Plymouth tomorrow. They're now managerless. Wayne Rooney as Vamooshed.
Manager more, you could say, without Rooney in charge. I tell you.
But they'd probably be harder to beat now, to be quite honest.
They will. They will.
But you know,
They played well the other day, Plymouth did.
There's rumours. That.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. There's rumours that Schumacher might be going back there.
I've seen that.
I'm just grateful, to be honest with you, that Schumacher's not going to be in charge for this weekend.
For that
if he is
game,
going back there, to be honest with you, because that would be, well, it'd be pouring petrol onto a fire.
I thought he was doing well for Stoke before he got sacked as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll see. Dude, he's going to be in the dugout. I hear the ground's going to be packed. Are we all going to the match?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we shall all go and see how we get on. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us tonight in another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV. As I said at the start, you can catch this on Spotify now as well as YouTube. Big thanks to our 2 guests. Adam, thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
We'll look forward to continuing your assessment of matches after the thing. We'll post those videos on Facebook when you tell us how awful Stoke have been or how well.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it under a minute if can.
SAMCAM, thanks very much for coming on, SAMCAM.
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure.
And if you haven't checked out Sam's blogs, matchday vlogs, you've got to go check them out on YouTube. Because they're excellent. They're excellent, man. I mean, you've been doing this for yonks now, and you were doing stuff with before and everything, weren't you?
Yeah. Long. I mean, 4 years now, but it's going strong at the minute. Loving every minute, and I'll continue doing it for a long time, I'm sure.
Excellent.
You've been doing it longer than 4 years.
Yeah.
You've been doing it longer than 4 years.
No, my first vlog was 4 years ago at home to Derby County. You can look it up if you don't believe me.
What, on SAMCAM or with there?
Yeah, I've been. Oh well, if you can't. Well, I was only working for Peppers as like a sergeant, wasn't I? But no, that was when I was younger. But in terms of SAMCAM, that's been going like 4 years now.
SAMCAM's been going 4 years, and may it continue to go strong. Sam, you're part of the furniture. You're always here, aren't you? So, but thanks for coming. Thanks for coming again. It's coming on. Right, okie dokie. We'll wrap it up. So that's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Hang on. Goodbye from.
Goodbye from me.
And.
Goodbye from me.
There you go. We will get it smooth one day, honestly. We'll practice. You can tell it's not scripted. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we will see you on the next episode of Stoke Fan TV. Go on, Stoke!
Right, Stoke.